Good morning, welcome to another video from Help You Excel. Today I'm going to show you how to implement first in, first out using Microsoft Access. So to begin with, I made a simple table, a product, a manufacture date, and then a toggle for this product has been used or not been used. Okay, so I put in 5 different products: bread, butter, cheese, cream, I forget what else. Anyway, there's a handful of different products, different manufacture dates. And I need to select the oldest first that hasn't been used. So there's several ways you can do this. In example 1, all I did was I said bread where not used, and I told it to return the top 1. Okay. Now, if you have an older version of Access, this option here to set a 1 here, normally this would say all, and then you'd get everything. I just put a 1 in here to make it the top 1. Okay. If you have an older version of Access, that won't be there. So I'll show you how to do it if you have an older version. So that says all. Now if I run this right now, I'm going to get all of my rows. Okay, you can right click here and go to SQL view. You can also right click here and go to SQL view. I usually do this. And then all you need to do is add the word top and the number 1. And now you see if you have the newer version of Access, it says 1 here. So what this is going to do is whatever you sort by, it's going to rank and give you the top 1. Okay, we're sorting by manufacture date ascending, so it's going to give me the top 1 manufacture date where it's bread and it hasn't been used. So if I run this, bread, manufacture date January 1st is what I should use. Now let's take a look and make sure. So let's just filter for bread, sort by the date. Sure enough, the oldest one that hasn't been used is January 1st. So that's working perfectly. So if I mark this as used now and hit refresh, it'll give me the next oldest, which if I look back here, January 11th. Okay, if I keep doing this, it'll keep progressing. Now, one little quirk with this method is because it's a rank system, these 6 tie in rank. They were all manufactured on the same date. If in your application, if that's okay, then this will work fine. If these are all manufactured the same date, just pick one. It won't matter which one. And then you can refresh, and now that one's gone. That one's gone. Okay, until eventually the last one for that date is gone. And then it'll move on to the next date, and for that one, there's only 1 row for that particular date. If that will work for you, then this method is great. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. If you need it to return exactly just 1 row, then this method obviously is not going to work for you, and I'll show you another way that you can do that. So I'm going to close this. I'm not going to save it. And since I know this date has ties, I'm going to uncheck these. And I'm going to show you example 3 or example 2. What this one is going to do is it's just going to give you the smallest primary key where it isn't used. Okay, so if you can literally, the most recent one, go in the order that it was put into the table, this method will work great. So if you key in things in the order they're produced always, this method will give you what you need. So what I did is I just drug down my field, and here's the trick right here. I'm using a subquery. So I'm selecting the smallest ID number from FiFo example where product equals bread and used equals 0. So it's going to give you the smallest primary key where the product is bread and it hasn't been used yet. And then, so that's my criteria. So it's going to pick that row. So when I run this, January 21st, even though the 21st has ties, it doesn't matter because the smallest one that has been used is 20. So it's picking that one row. Okay, now if I mark this as used and hit refresh, it advances to 21, 22, and eventually I'll get to a different date because I'll use all the ones from the 21st. And then it jumps to the 28th, which would be the next date. Okay, now I'm going to uncheck this. If for some reason your manufacture date will not necessarily be entered into your table chronologically, meaning you might enter in a new row today where the manufacture date was, for example. Well, if I use this example 2 now, this row is not going to get used for a long time, even though production date is clearly the oldest production date. So if you need to get a single row always, and you need the oldest production date always, then you can use example 3. What I did here was I did a pre-query, and all it's doing is for each product, give me the smallest or the earliest manufacture date. So for each product, this is the smallest manufacture date where it hasn't been used yet. Okay, I'm going to go back up here. Okay, I did. So for right now, we're on the 21st. Did I delete? I must have deleted that last row. Yep, okay. So we're on January 21st for bread. We know that's the row, that's the one that has duplicates, right? So then what I did was I used that pre-query as a join. So here's my pre-query, and I'm joining to my original table on product and manufacture date. So that will get me, if I change this to all again, that'll get me those 6 rows where they're all manufactured on the same date, okay, which is not what we wanted. But if I change this to just the top one, and I order by the primary key, so it's going to get the earliest date, and then if there's any ties that are all on the same date, it's just going to get you the row that was added to the table first. So this will get you, for sure, first in, first out, just one row. So if I, for example, were to do like I did before, and I add in an older one, and I refresh it, now you'll see that is the one that's there. Now, a drawback to this method, because I'm using this join, this is not editable now. I can't click this and mark that as used. So you'd have to run a query to do an update query and update row 383 as used in order to be able to mark that one as used. So there you go. There's 3 examples of how you can do first in, first out using Microsoft Access. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me at my email address. And I'm also available to help you more extensively with training or with any projects that you may have. Thank you.